off with a shout out to all of my Cafe Mom friends, Angie, Haley, Nadine, Beth, Heather, Sylvia, Penny, Tammy, Courtney, Shelly, Megan, and MG Birdie. You guys are awesome, and keep being your awesome selves. You guys rock. I'm making this, I'm starting this new vlog series, because, I mean, I have a lot of health issues and trying to conceive and all that kind of stuff, so I wanted to kind of start this for support for others out there who are going through the same things I'm going through. This is going to be in addition to my series, The Resolution. Right now that's kind of stalled because we don't really have the money to do some of the projects that we had originally set out to try and do. So that's going to take some time. I do have a few videos and video clips that I need to edit and get together and make some videos for the resolution on that. We're also, Thomas and I are talking about starting another series that we would like to do as well, that we really haven't come up with a name yet, but we're thinking about calling it The Talk, and it's going to be just us sitting together and having discussions about what it means to be Christian conservative, like the Second Amendment and gun rights and gun safety, abortion, politics, different things like that. So let me give you a little history on my health and basically my reproductive health. So anybody who has a weak stomach and doesn't really want to hear the little bit of TMI that's in here, then turn back now. So anyway, so when I pretty much had problems ever since I was 12 and started my period, and they'd always been really irregular, but I really didn't pay much attention to it until I got married and we started to try to have a family. So, and it took a year to get pregnant with our first, and a year and a half with the second. So that kind of told me that there was something wrong other than my periods being so irregular. Those two things kind of really, you know, said that there was something not right. And somewhere between my first pregnancy and my second pregnancy, I started to do some research on different things and stuff, and I had discovered PCOS, and I thought I had a pretty good idea that maybe that was what was wrong with me. But I still didn't really think about it much because I had achieved pregnancy, so I kind of brushed it off. And then after my second was born, the youngest, Marley, after she was born, I was just totally messed up, just completely. I mean, it just got way worse. And my first period after she was born it was 2 to 3 weeks long, but it was off and on, so it would be, you know, bleed for a couple of days, and then there would be a couple of days of nothing, and then a day of spotting, and then maybe 3 days of nothing, and then 3 days of heavy bleeding. It was just totally messed up. Well, it finally stopped, and it stopped for a long time. And so when it finally started again, it was extremely heavy, and it lasted for 6 weeks. So my regular OBGYN ended up doing a DNC, and he did find a polyp that, thank God, was not cancerous. So that was really good. But the DNC, right after the DNC, all the bleeding stopped completely, but it didn't fix the problem totally. I went a very long time without a period again, and then when my period started, I had like a 3-week long period, and they've just been so messed up like that since. And so I would go, my cycles lasting 5 to 10 or 11 weeks, and then I would have a 2 to 3 week long period. And so I finally decided to see a specialist because I was pretty confident that what my problem was PCOS. And but since he wasn't a specialist, he really couldn't pinpoint it as well as a specialist would. So I went to see a specialist, and I'll get on to what she said in a minute, but another part of my history is the only way this really affects me having PCOS or my fertility and everything is my weight. But I've been diagnosed with early arthritis, and surprisingly enough, that isn't due to my weight. It's due to I have excessively loose joints, and they overextend easily and pop out of joint and everything. So I've double jointed it in several places, and even being as big as I am, I can fold myself in half easily. So anyway, my back and neck specialist, or you know, the joint specialist, they said that my joints being so loose and 27 years of all that excessive extending caused a lot of damage in my joints, so I'm developing arthritis in all the rest of my major joints. I also have a tilt in my lower spine, which is kind of something like this. So they told me I can't be a runner or a jogger, because they said every time I take, even if I was thin, so because every time I take a hard step, like you would with jogging and running, it puts pressure on that tilt and it can make it slip. And if that happens, then I'm running into the possibility of becoming paralyzed from the waist down. So I really have to be careful with what kind of exercises I do. Due to my joints and the tilt in my spine. So that doesn't really affect trying to conceive of the PCOS, but it does affect what kind of workouts and stuff I can do in order to lose weight. Okay, so what is PCOS? PCOS is actually an insulin, a problem with your insulin. Don't mistake it for diabetes, because it's not diabetes, although it can lead to diabetes. What it actually is insulin resistance, where your body doesn't use the insulin properly, and so it can't control your sugar levels in your blood, and so your body ends up storing all this sugar as fat. And the higher levels of insulin affect the ovaries and cause the ovaries to grow cysts and produce more testosterone than they should, which in turn causes a lot of all the other symptoms and stuff. So PCOS isn't a condition in itself, but more like a symptom of another condition. And so that's basically what PCOS is, and the PCOS can affect a lot of, or the insulin resistance can affect a lot of things. It can lead to heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes. I heard uterine cancer, because women who have PCOS typically go long periods of time without their menstrual cycle, and that buildup of the endometrium can turn into cancerous cells. I've heard pancreatic cancer because of the pancreas going so many years of overworking. Just it can cause all kinds of problems, weight issues. It can cause other hormonal imbalances in the body, like causing problems with your thyroid and everything else. So just that one thing, the insulin resistance itself, causes a whole slew of problems. The typical symptoms are excess face and body hair, which I have a tendency to grow a lot of hairs right up in here. I do have a lot of hairs on the sides of my face and on my upper lip. Most